Right now, somewhere in a forest, a deer just heard you breathing, and its heart rate just spiked. Not because you have claws, not because you have fangs. You're a slow, soft, hairless ape eating a granola bar in hiking boots. But to that deer, you are the most terrifying thing on this planet. More terrifying than a lion, more terrifying than a shark, more terrifying than anything with teeth. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand why every living creature on Earth, apex predators included, runs the second they sense you coming. This didn't start with guns. It didn't start with cities. It started hundreds of thousands of years ago. Scientists call it the landscape of fear. Prey animals don't just react to danger, they build their entire lives around avoiding it. Where they sleep, where they drink, when they move, all of it, shaped by the fear of death. And for most of human history, we were the death. Early humans couldn't outrun a gazelle, but we didn't need to. We just kept walking for hours, in the heat, until the animal collapsed from exhaustion. If you were that gazelle watching a strange two-legged shape jogging toward you at a steady pace, that wasn't just unsettling. That was a death sentence. Pause. The animals that ran survived. The ones that didn't became food. Generation after generation, that fear got burned into their bloodline. It's not something they learn anymore, it's something they're born with. Here's where it gets disturbing. In 2016, researchers played a sound to wild animals. Not a lion's roar, not a wolf's howl. Just a human voice. Casual conversation, the kind you'd hear at a bus stop. Mountain lions fled at more than double the rate they fled from other predators. Bobcats, deer, skunks, all of them bolted harder from a human voice than from anything else in the forest. Even animals with no natural enemies, apex predators that fear nothing, panicked at the sound of us talking. Think about that. A mountain lion. An animal that kills deer for breakfast. Running from someone chatting about their weekend plans. Because even the top of the food chain remembers. We hunted them too. We pushed them out. We are, scientifically speaking, the most feared predator on Earth. Most predators are predictable. Wolves hunt at dawn and dusk. Animals learn the pattern and survive around it. But humans? We hunt morning, night, in groups alone. With fire, with traps, from boats, from the sky. We hunt things we eat and things we don't. From an animal's perspective, there is no pattern. We are a variable they cannot solve. And when a brain can't solve something, the only safe response is to run from it. Always, every time. Now, here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. When Darwin landed in the Galapagos in the 1830s, the animals didn't run. He wrote about pushing iguanas into the ocean and watching them calmly swim back and sit beside him again. In Antarctica, penguins walk straight up to researchers and try to steal their equipment. In protected marine reserves, fish swim toward divers, while fish just a few miles away in unprotected waters flee on sight. The conclusion is chilling. Fear of humans isn't a factory setting. It's installed through experience. Which means the fear isn't really about us, it's about what we do. When wolves returned to Yellowstone in 1995, deer didn't just decrease in number, they changed behavior. They avoided open valleys, rivers changed course, forests grew back. Entire ecosystems shifted, just from fear. Now, scale that up to humans. A 2018 study found that animals across 6 continents have become more nocturnal, not because of habitat loss, but simply because humans are around during the day. We are quite literally changing when animals on this planet are awake. Here's something nobody wants to hear. Researchers soaked strips of fabric in human sweat and placed them near wildlife cameras. The drop in animal activity, nearly identical to strips soaked in mountain lion urine. Yeah, just existing, just sweating, smell to wildlife like an apex predator is standing in the room. The most haunting evidence of all comes from first contact. Sailors who encountered the dodo described an animal so fearless it would walk toward them. They thought it was stupid. It wasn't stupid. It just hadn't been taught to be afraid yet, and it went extinct almost immediately after we arrived. Here's the part that sits with you after the video ends. The fear animals have of us isn't irrational. It's accurate. We've driven hundreds of species extinct. We've destroyed more than half of Earth's natural habitat. The animals running from you are making the correct call. And the cruelest twist? Because they flee, because they hide, we don't see the damage. The forest looks empty. We assume it's fine. The fear hides the evidence of what we've done. But here's the one thread of hope. In Rwanda, gorillas that once fled from rangers on site have, over just a few years of consistent, non-threatening contact, learned to tolerate, even seem to enjoy human presence. The fear is learned, which means it can be unlearned. So the next time a squirrel has a full meltdown on your lawn, it's not being dramatic. It's running a survival program that's hundreds of thousands of years old. It doesn't know you're harmless. The question is, will we ever give it a reason to believe that?